Welcome to another edition of Preferred Professionals of America. I'm your host, Melissa Castellano, and today we have the honor of introducing Dr. Patricia A. Broderick, a renowned expert in the field of neuroscience. Dr. Broderick has been recognized as a top industry expert by the Preferred Professionals of America Network, solidifying her reputation as a leading figure in her field. She is the inventor of the BRODERICK PROBE biosensors, and recently she graced the cover of the prominent industry magazine, further highlighting her exceptional contributions to neuroscience. Today we are thrilled to have Dr. B, as she is affectionately known by her students, so please join us in welcoming Dr. Patricia A. Broderick. It is a pleasure, and I know our audience is in for quite the ride today, given your wealth of knowledge on so many topics that we're going to discuss here today. You, as the inventor of the patented and trademarked BRODERICK PROBE biosensors, the very first live imaging biosensor. Can you tell us why this groundbreaking development is so important in the field of medicine and how it directly affects patients?
It's so important because we are sensing. Okay, we're sensing with a sensor this small. You cannot see it. Okay, it's in here, and even in here you cannot see it. It is smaller than 1 unit hair. It does not produce gliosis according to the pathologist's report when I studied the epilepsy patient intraoperatively during surgery. First surgery ever done by seeing the inside of the brain and the chemicals that are causing those seizures. There is no other inventive arm that can do this. This is live. This is not after death. We are particularly focusing on epilepsy, Parkinson, and Alzheimer. But you know, epilepsy as a neurodegenerative disease, as a genetic disease, we are finding that genes are involved. Everybody we know has epilepsy. My godson's son has epilepsy. Where did the epilepsy come from? Nobody else in the family has it.
Wow. And how early is that detection, doctor? How early are you able to determine that in a patient?
Well, we can determine it earlier now. Up until now, you could not determine it until the seizure occurred.
Right.
The seizure occurred, and then the person said, "Oh, what is this? What is this uncontrollable shaking? I'm scared to death. Has my son, has my daughter gone into a convulsion? What is this convulsion? Have they, what is this? Is this a nervous breakdown? What is it? Why is this uncontrollable involuntary movement going on that really is horrible to see? That is so frightening. And it happens at any time in the worst times. Any time is the worst time.
Correct.
And it can happen at any time during life.
Right.
And we really do not know where it comes from yet.
Okay.
And the reason that we don't know is because although the electroencephalogram is quite good, it is also quite noisy. So we're going to show, Melissa, now you have the slides with you. And,
I do.
And we're going to see, you're going to see this tiny sensor, how I can see, why do we go small? Why do we go nanotechnology? Why do we go quantum sensing? Okay, the reason we do that is because we can see more. So let's give credit to all the other technologies, because all the other technologies are good, but then let's market this one, because you see, this one is going to upgrade all the others. Okay. I have a great deal of experience in atomic absorption spectrometry, fluorescence spectrometry, and this is the common sense next step. So this was not foreign to me to say, look, I want to do this. I want to build the smallest probe in the world. Okay. And the way to do it is coming out in press. I have told everybody. In my patents, I detail everything. I have a penchant for detail and I have a penchant for sharing everything. So, how do we stop the seizures? Well, the neurotransmitter serotonin does stop seizures.
Mm-hmm.
And what's different about this tiny sensor is that we can see inside the surface of it, and it has its own AI. It has its own artificial intelligence. If
Yes.
you go to the slide session that we're both looking at, oh, I
Perfect.
suppose it's about 11 down. I have magnified the sensor.
Let me go
It
ahead. Do
looks
you want
like,
me to share that screen, doctor? Let me share
yes.
that screen with our audience.
Oh, I would love that. How perfect this is.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Well, this is the equipment that I had to build because, after all, I have built the tiniest sensor in the world and I have to calibrate it. Well, there's nothing to buy to calibrate it. So that's why we have to get this to the market. So, what did I do? I calibrated it. uh, I figured out a way to put these tiny sensors into a jar so that the tips of them could touch the solution. It's touching phosphorus, and we always thought that phosphorus didn't produce electricity. It most certainly does. Uh, that's another myth that we're taking care of dispelling. And so we have this set up, and this will be mimicked all over the world. And what's different about you can stay there where you were a second ago
Oh,
with
the
those
second one.
scans.
Perfect. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. You see, what's different about our technology too is that we can see the neurotransmitters. You see, the
Mm-hmm.
other stimulation paradigms, they are wonderful. They do their job, uh, and but they don't see any neurotransmitters. So
So,
you
doctor,
see,
let me ask
ours,
you
yes,
from a
sure.
patient standpoint. So once the probe is there, once you have detected it, what happens for the patient now? What can you do differently now knowing this information and having all of this?
Okay, so now we see the patient. You can go down a couple of slides and you will actually see the temporal lobe of the human epilepsy patient. Uh, this is what they do now. They take out the resected tissue. They take out the part of the brain that's causing the problem, that's causing
Mhm.
the excessive firing rates. Uh, and so what we have done is we even subtyped all of these. You're going to go down a little bit further. These are all the signals. Okay, stay here.
Oh,
Stay back. Go back one. Go back another one, and go back another one.
oh,
Okay,
there
here
we
we
go.
are. Okay,
Oh,
now, oh,
there.
what
Sorry. Sorry,
that
doctor. There
that
was a
happens.
delay.
That's what happens all the time.
Yes.
It happens all the time. Okay, what we're doing is we're applying some energy here. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. It's a quantum, it's a packet of energy like this, like the wave of an ocean. Packet, 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 packet. Okay, now what you see here is the hippocampus of an epilepsy patient. Okay, that's fine. We did this, we subtyped this, we did a beautiful work for the humanity. Okay, that's fine. But what we've done further than this, you can imagine this is an epilepsy patient lying down on the surgery table, okay, with the Broderick probe, little tiny sensor in the brain. And when we apply the energy, and you're going to see that part in a second too, when we apply the energy either to the brain directly, but we go straight into the spot that we need, then look at what we get. we get the scan over here. Look, it goes directly, you put the energy in, and the sensor sees a scan.
Yes.
Look, there's no
Amazing.
tunnels,
No.
there's no reagents, there's no
Mhm.
dyes,
Yeah.
there's no centrifuging and waiting 3 weeks for it to come back.
Incredible.
Uh, yeah,
So
it
there's
is
real-time results and real-time
right,
data given right there where we've had to wait
right
in the
there,
past. Yeah.
online, in
Incredible.
sub-seconds, and we can see any neurotransmitter that you would want to see to cure this. Because what you're doing is you're pinpointing. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to show you the actual patient. And we all know somebody who, to the next slide. There is the temporal lobe of the human epilepsy brain. Uh, from the resection studies, we do resection because resection is good for the patient. The outcome of the resection surgeries are good. We now know that genes do play a part, a bigger part than we thought they played before, which is kind of scary for the patients who have children, including my godson, does have a child with epilepsy. Here is the scan. Yeah, you're going to go right. That's the scan I want you to see. Now, of course, in the operating room, that brain is covered, and it's totally aseptic, and the operating room is filled with technicians and cardiologists and anesthesiologists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted you to see the great vein, uh, that gorgeous great vein in the brain, how beautiful our brain is. The epilepsy
That one
patient
right
just,
here.
yeah, right
Hmm.
there. This is
Yeah.
the great vein of Galen. Look at this beautiful vein. Oh my goodness, look at how beautiful our brain is, how
Yeah.
beautiful our bodies are, the wealth of knowledge that's in there. And this tiny little probe can just sit 2 microns, 2 microns, and
Wow.
it's not causing, pathologist said, no scarring, no scarring. And
Right.
the immunologist said, no bacterial growth, no bacterial growth.
Wow.
And right, and we're not taking any fluid out. We're not putting any fluid in. We're not doing anything to the brain. We're just moving electrons around, and we're not even moving them. The sensor in itself is artificial intelligence. It is finding the fastest and straightest way to get to the neurotransmitter that's causing the problem. Okay, and so in the next slide, you'll see the scan, and I'm gonna concentrate on that. Good,
Mhm.
good. Okay, here we go. So what good does it do to do this study? How come we don't see it before? How come we haven't seen it before? What can we do that we couldn't do before?
Mhm.
Okay, what we could do before is we could stimulate the brain in certain parts like the globus pallidus, and then the shaking of Parkinson's will stop, and then the seizures of epilepsy will stop with but you see that those kinds of technologies, they are fabulous, but after the study is over, that we don't know what we have seen. We don't
Right.
know what to do next. We don't know where it came from. Okay, with this tiny sensor named after my father, Paddy Broderick from County Clare, Ireland, I am the child of immigrants. I
Beautiful.
am a first generation Irish American, and America has given me the opportunity to do this. And my parents came over here and met over here, and they wanted to come here to give us the opportunity to learn. And so I took it a
And
step further,
yes, you
and
did, doctor. Yes, you did.
and
And
Uh-huh.
And with everything you did you foresee, knowing, that your interest with neuroscience and you got there, I would love to hear how you got there. And did you foresee your success being as big as it has become? Did you foresee that? So that's
Okay. um, what I do is I go where I'm led. Um,
Mhm,
I had the privilege of uh, being educated in the best schools, uh,
mhm.
St. Thomas Aquinas College, Fordham, and I'm inducted into the Hall of Fame there, and I graduated magna cum laude there. And I actually was able to accredit that school as a student, as an 18, 19-year-old. I was able to help in the accreditation because
Incredible.
the science teacher, who was brilliant, became
Mhm.
afflicted with a brain disease, and
Oh,
the dean and the accreditation committee was coming, and the
mhm.
dean Ender, said, "Look, Patricia, you're going in to teach to all the most difficult science courses in front of this licensing committee." I
Wow.
said, "Yeah, but I'm teaching the people. I'm in their class, Dean. I'm in the
Right.
same class." She said, "Well,
Yeah.
look, the accrediting commission doesn't need to know that. You
Right.
know how to teach. Go in and teach. Okay? You're teaching after the teacher has taught all day anyway."
Right.
Everybody came to me with questions all day ever since I'm in kindergarten. In public school, everybody's asking me to teach what the teacher taught all over again. So
Right.
that's been like my whole life. Now,
Yeah.
what I saw when I became a doctoral uh, person, I said, I am going for a doctorate, and I am using atomic absorption spectrometry, and I'm using fluorescence spectroscopy, and I'm studying mental health, and I'm seeing how bipolar people can feel better. But I'm seeing it post-mortem. How come
Mhm.
nobody can see this live?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Because nobody could, it wasn't done. So I said to myself, no, I'll do it. It's
Mhm.
not done, therefore I'll do it. Somebody has to do it. This
Great
work has
examples
to
of
be
you
done.
being led. Yes, exactly. And it just comes with you being led in the direction, and
Exactly.
that's where it took you.
And then everybody who asks me to do things, the epilepsy people in the
Mhm.
Comprehensive Epilepsy Center in NYU, Langone,
Yeah.
the chairman, Dr. Kolodny, the two people, Dr. Doyle, the neurosurgeon, Dr. Pacia, the epileptologist, they were working with Dr. Dennis Spencer, Dr. Susan Spencer. They are now in memoriam, and they were working in Yale, and they
Mhm.
were working on trying to cure epilepsy,
Yeah.
okay, and Parkinson's, and I don't think they were working on Alzheimer's, but they were using a technology called microdialysis that had
Mhm.
a lot of skinny little tubings.
Okay.
And Werner and Steve, they're fellows coming up in the surgery department. Werner is the surgeon, and they're saying the it's clogged. All the cape, these tiny little plastic things, they're
Right.
clogged. You can't get a signal. All of a sudden, you have a signal. All of a sudden, it's clogged. The patient is under anesthesia. You
Mhm.
you have to move fast,
Right.
uh, and so they were uh, ambitious and young, and they were
Mhm.
not afraid then to go against the the main guy, the
Yeah.
top guy, the
Yeah.
one directing the epilepsy unit. They called me and they said, can we come to your lab? We heard about it. Okay, I said, sure,
Incredible.
come on in. Come on in.
Yep.
Yeah, and they came in and they said, we want this. And then Dr. Kolodny, the chairman of neurology in NYU, said, hey, we want you. Will you be faculty member over here? You're already at City University, but you can always be adjunct and you can always work with us right away. Can you work
Right.
with us right away? Uh, and that's how it happened.
Wow.
So yeah, going where I'm led is exactly, and so everybody who walked in the door, and again, my door is open to everybody right now. Okay,
Right.
because
Yep.
there's another big step that we're doing, and we're getting an optical probe where
Wow.
we have rhodopsin in it, and
Mhm.
rhodopsin is what helps us to see. Um, and so the world is wide open and ready and waiting for this. And we are building up Easy Sense Nanotechnology and the
Yep.
Broderick Brain Foundation.
And that was my next question too. So I was going to bring up, so the premise of the development for your company, Easy Sense Nanotechnologies, what is the company's mission? So you just talked about expanding through the ocular probe as well. So
Uh-huh.
what is your mission with that? Tell us a little bit more.
The Broderick Brain Foundation has the same exact mission as Easy Sense.
Okay.
The Broderick Brain Foundation uh, takes any donation at all and any donation that will help this project go forward.
Mhm.
Uh, and we started this in 2000. Uh, and we started it with a lawyer that my godson had. He didn't know that his son was going to have epilepsy, you see.
Mhm.
And he got the lawyer to give me a break, uh, on setting up the foundation. And then we had Broderick Brain Foundation dinners. We never really made any money. It was a time for all the university people, all my family, the whole world just to get together for a good dinner and dancing and get to know about the probe. Then I built the company in 2015. The company then has the serious mission of getting this in the marketplace. And we do have 200 stock, which we are very, very willing to share. We have the 1128. So I've learned how to run a business. Of course, you know, uh, we scientists need financial people.
How can investors learn more about the
Oh,
Broderick probe?
Oh, yes. Uh, Investors can learn more about the Broderick Probe by directly just, I actually have on this phone the Chief Financial Officer of Donkam Financial Wealth in Singapore. And in Singapore, my book is coming out, which actually details this technology. Not only details this technology, but details how I felt doing it, all the stages of torture that some people put me through,
And what
all
is the
the
title of that book, doctor? What is the title?
oh, the title is Neuroimaging,
Okay.
Sensing Biochemistry in the Brain. Now, I do have a contract right here on this phone from Tio Tong Ho from Donkam Funding. It's for $10 million. Okay, so he's valuing this at $10 million. I had said, and that would go through Hong Kong because Singapore cannot securitize the
Okay.
USA. However, the book is coming out of Singapore from a different company. It's neuro imaging, sensing biochemistry in the brain. And that's from Jenny Stanford Publishing. Oh my God, another group of fabulous people in Singapore. Uh,
Mhm.
and I've been working with them for 12 years. Uh, they have worked with me on even doing drawings of my original data to get
Wow.
all of this out in the most elegant way. It
Mhm.
is typeset. I have proof the typeset copy. It is going out. I have another book going out because Nature asked me to write a book. And I decided to write that book on all of the other technologies, MRI, PET scan, so that we're all together because all of these people recognize my technology and
Yeah.
they're with me and I'm with them and we can use this technology. This probe it's a semiconductor. This can help their technologies go faster.
Wow.
We
And
can work together
yes.
despite the fact that the world thinks that you must be cutthroat. Tio Tong Ho is not cutthroat. Jenny Stanford Publishing is not cutthroat. Uh,
Mhm.
a lot of people are not cutthroat. A lot of people want to work together.
Right. And the
I asked,
possibilities sound endless, and they could just keep going from this one
yes,
invention, this one technology that you created. And it sounds,
yes.
again, like the possibilities are endless. We look forward to seeing how much more, it can offer the world in medicine as well. So anything you would like to add, doctor, before we end today?
My phone number, 212-650-5479. It's published. Call me.
So doctor, you want to tell us a little bit more about the ocular part of what the biosensor can do for us as well. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more.
Yes. Uh, we have the tiny probe. I'll show it once more. You cannot see it. Uh, it's smaller than a human hair. It can be in many forms. As far as epilepsy is concerned, even it can be on the grid as the patient is undergoing an EEG. It can
Mhm.
be in each tiny little circular piece of conductor inside the grid that the patient has on the brain to see the EEG. And we can see EEG and this chemical at the same time. Now, uh, what can this do more than something else? Well, we're talking about epilepsy primarily right this minute.
Yes.
Epilepsy is underserved, okay? Uh,
Hmm.
Epilepsy is neurodegeneration. It is a neurodegenerative disease and a neuropsychiatric disease. We
Hmm.
are finding now that it is somewhat genetic, but we have to do more than drugs, and we have to do more than surgery, and we have to make the surgery more precise. And that is what this is doing. But
Hmm.
not only that, with the optical probe, we can see we can use a, a chemical. um, I don't like the word chemical. We can use
Hmm.
a compound, we can use a molecule, okay, called rhodopsin, which actually is what our eyes use to see.
Okay.
Rhodopsin will allow the probe to give us another picture in addition to the neurotransmitter that all the other technologies, albeit they are wonderful, they
Hmm.
do not see the chemical. They
Right.
do not. So that after the stimulation, uh, okay, it works. The seizures stop. You see, we didn't know why seizures stopped. Okay,
Hmm.
we don't know why they start.
Right.
So you need a point at which. So in postmortem studies, the ones after death where the brain is homogenized, oh, the thought of this, um, and human brains were homogenized. Human
Wow.
brain, that's how the Alzheimer's was actually discovered by Peter Davies, right next to me in Einstein. Uh,
Ah.
he discovered it by taking the head off, and he's another wonderful man. Uh, they took the heads off the patients, okay,
Wow.
and homogenized it in a blender.
Oh.
Oh,
Right. So we've come a long way.
and so and that's called postmortem. That's after death,
Right.
okay? After death is important because the person is still alive after death. The brain is still working after after the heart stops. That's more data that I have.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And
So,
doctor, you want to tell us more too about this serotonin as well. What did you want to add about
so,
serotonin?
right. So serotonin stops seizures, and we can see all the molecules, but in particular, now I see in that scan that we just saw, we just showed it before. We ended up after the human brain and after the scan. Can we share the screen again?
Yes,
Because
we
now
can.
I want to show you some algorithms where we can take care of those fine motor skills. Uh, that epilepsy patients can sometimes lose, even when there's no seizures. Here is the point. Even when there is no seizures, the epilepsy patient is undergoing some loss of skills. Yes. Yeah. Well, we can stay at that brain for a minute.
The brain, sure.
It is so, let's make that a landmark. This is absolutely so fascinating. This beautiful, beautiful brain. And then because development sometimes does not occur, uh, then neurotransmitters are missing. And neurotransmitters are in too much abundance and causing some problems. Uh, so the point is the technology that will not hurt the brain and still see inside the brain without opening the brain
Wow.
while the subject is walking. Okay. Uh, Now we see inside the brain of the epilepsy patient during intraoperative surgeries, of course, and we see inside the brain while the animal subject is walking. Of course, the next step is to see inside the brain while the human being is walking,
Mhm.
while the epilepsy patient is walking. Because the point, the big, big difference that we give to humanity and society with this technology is that we can pinpoint, well, who is the culprit, what neurotransmitter, what neural pathway is going wrong in terms of detail, in terms of detail. And so in the epilepsy brain, see, serotonin is supposed to come out over here. Can you see where I'm pointing?
I
This
cannot, but I see the number 3. Is that where you
That's
want our
great.
attention?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Perfect.
The number three is perfect because the characteristic for serotonin is the number three. This probe acts like artificial intelligence. Okay? It acts as an artificial intelligent mechanism. It tells you you don't have to you don't have to try to find out where serotonin will come out. You just apply a little bit of energy to the subject in the operating room, or after the next step is the optical probe. And with the optical probe, that gives us a way to see the light, but it also gives us a way to go into the epilepsy patient while walking,
Wow.
because seeing the animal while walking, it gives us the way to code the neurotransmitter, um, to help the quadriplegic to walk and to help the epilepsy patient to fine tune their motor skills. Because what we have to know about epilepsy is it's not only through the convulsion that the
Mhm.
terrible things happen. Even in everyday life, there is a a limit to some certain of the things that they can do. Most people don't think of that. They think of epilepsy as seizing and then just stop the seizing and that's it. No, the epilepsy person is a whole person, an entire person, and somebody who needs to be treated from top to bottom and treated in such a way that they're not missing anything that other people can do. So uh, you see that the epilepsy patient, the serotonin is missing. You saw that.
It- And we saw that. And what you said too, we're talking about an epilepsy patient here, but what it really boils down to is that there's, like we mentioned, so many more possibilities. And with those possibilities, I want you to share your YouTube channel because that is a way that you hope to be seen even more and another way that investors can then find you as well. So do you want to share a little bit more about the YouTube channel?
Easy Sense, EAZYSENSE. So we're sensing, and I'm saying it's easy, okay, because we need to get the company going, and then it's going to be easy. It's not easy right now, but it's Easy Sense Nanotechnology.com. That's what it is.
Perfect. And before we leave you today, doctor, can you please tell us what is your hope and your wishes for the future of the Broderick probe?
That is a household name, that these scans that you have seen, uh, uh, the everybody in the world can pick up their cell phone and see the signals from their brain as easily as, and it will be as easily as you can see the your pulse uh, and your heart rate. Now you can get your pulse and your heart rate on your own cell phone, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, you will be able to see your brain signals on your phone within seconds.
And
And
that is a technology, and that is something that I look forward to, like I had mentioned personally as well, to understand, my child who needs a little bit more assistance and help a little bit more and understand her brain would be, more than I can wish for. So I look forward to having your wishes come true as well, doctor. So thank you so much for being with us today. This was enlightening and, such a pleasure to learn so much more about what is being done with your company. So thank you.